Alright, what is up? Welcome back. It is, it's a couple hours later, but we're back here better than ever. I got some tea brewing. I got a relatively full battery. I got, this lemon chamomile, lemon lavender chamomile. Something special is indeed brewing. This is really good tea. My friend got it for me for Christmas. It was great. But enough about my life. Let's get back to this camera. So where we left off, we have this all put in kind of how it should be. We're missing this piece, that piece, the battery compartment, which is there. All of the top internal stuff, or external stuff I should say, the front plate, all of the electronics, all that stuff. What we have deduced thus far is that the shutter works, so pat myself on the back for that. Genius. Also, we're missing this bit down here, which I need to replace with the parts camera because I don't know what happened to that screw, quite frankly. Not one of my finer moments, man enough to admit it, but here we are regardless. So this, that actually worked out really well. I'm very happy with that. Okay, tight. So the clamp needs to sit with the 90-degree arm behind that little dorsal there. And then this will, the other thing sits on this side of the post. So basically what I did to jerry-rig that was to move it under this arm here, and then when I had it sat down, I pushed it down so then it fell onto the post. Pretty ingenious if you ask me, but whatever. Then the C-clamp sits on top of that to hold it all in. We can see now that this has the proper tension needed, so that's good. Now let us see, hypothetically, this should work. But let's find out if it does. That's good, that feels good, that feels right. That post is sitting up where it should be. The mirror is charged as it should be. Everything looks good. Boom, boom. Oh my God, I am just on another level. So, you know, no big deal. So that's gonna sit there. And now while I have the front open, I'm going to pass the power wire through here and up through here. So I'm just gonna loosen up the focus screen and lift that up. And once the whole housing is lifted up, that will increase the clearance so I can slide the wire through more easily. And I'm doing this because, as I mentioned previously, the wire and the contact itself was pretty bad. So I felt like while I'm here working on stuff, might as well just do everything. I actually did get the wire through though, that's impressive. Okay. But not enough. Which is fine. And also I'm using like a little bit of a thicker gauge wire. So that makes it hard. There is a little lip cutout thing on this side of the gallon meter. So it is, okay, that's fine. That's what I usually use to get this. That will sit just fine there. That will run around there. Damn, I'm just so good at my job sometimes, it's insane. Okay, tighten this back on before I forget about it. I did drop that screw, but because I know what I'm doing, I know where it goes, that's cool. And then I dropped it in the camera, but I can see it because where's Waldo Champion of 2023? I'm just telling you guys, it's my night to shine. I haven't even had my power tea yet. When I take a sip of this chamomile, I'm gonna be blasted through cameras. It's a joke, because I think chamomile, I think this blend in particular is meant to calm you down, or like you know, lavender and chamomile. Chamomile is like a traditionally calmer tea, an evening tea. I believe this is decaf too. It's my friend who gave me this. Shout out Aria. She knows my caffeine addiction better than most, so she's been trying to get me off the sauce for a while, and I'm telling her, it's like, hey, this is my go juice, you know, it's my go-go juice. She's like, no, it's not healthy. And I'm like, maybe you're right, or maybe you're not. I did goof this up though. I think what I'm gonna do instead is, did I goof this up? I might be able to fix this. This might take a little bit of doing. Okay, goof that up. So what we'll do instead is we're gonna run the wire down through the bottom here. And I mentioned this before, it's interesting to me that Pentax didn't do this in the first place, because I feel like this just makes more sense. But the wire could potentially run straight under here, and a lot of the times in the repair shop that's just what we would do because it makes more sense. Instead they would run the wire out around here down through that hole, but I mean, it's really potato at this point. I'm doing that because the wire, like I said, is pretty, it's a thicker, whatchamacallit, gauge. Pretty sure that is the proper term. So, a little harder to run that particular route, but overall, not too bad. There we go, good enough. All right, so it was able to get that connected. This is the part, so I don't know why I'm showing you that. Okay, yeah, basically just blasted myself with the fumes of the poison, which was awesome. Didn't think there was any left on the contact, but there was. So now I feel nauseous, but that's okay. That's from the parts camera, so we'll get there. Okay, so I got this connected like so. There is a little tensioning thing there. There's a hook arm, like a 90-degree hook arm that goes on this side, that piece, and then there's a little angler, and that goes around this post right there. Now, with all that fun out of the way, we're gonna put on the front plate, which is like really easy to do. I'm just gonna clean that off. And probably that. Okay. Yeah, so there's a couple different things we need to do first and foremost. Reattach these two wires, the black and the yellow. Okay, good, we're good. Okay, so those go out there. This silver one, I do need to reattach. We'll worry about that momentarily. They basically, the yellow's gonna attach to the yellow there, and the red's gonna attach to the yellow, or the, what the hell am I saying? The black goes to the black, the yellow goes to the yellow. I don't know why I came up with a red. And basically what these are controlling, or basically computing, is the resistance from the aperture ring right here. If I was to take this off, you would see this is basically just like a little brush on a resistance board. So that's interesting, I guess, if you were into that kind of thing. So let us work to reconnect it. I never know the right angle of which to approach this. So just kind of, I do it a little differently each and every time. I'm going to do black first. There's that like black and yellow song. Quite literally, I've never listened to it outside of like people just saying it. never got it. Okay, so I just burnt my fingernail, which is always a fun feeling. And then yellow is next. This camera's really taken its pound of flesh out of me, that is for sure. I think also it is late, so my what is it? OSHA compliance, I think, decreases. There's got to be some correlation with how long I'm awake for and injury sustained. How long I stay up working has to in some way either directly or indirectly correlate to damage. But anyway, okay. So I got those soldered back on easily enough, only minor issues. Now we are going to reattach the front plate. So got these little washer deals. They're kind of funky looking, but those just dip right in there. And then going to attach the screw. There are 5 screws. 4 of them are all the same size, 1 is different. Now, if you are a Nikon repair person, you will go off of the manual that Nikon has, which gives you the order in which to reattach front plate screws as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, something like that. Pentax gives you no such directive. I just choose to do it this way because I feel like it kind of helps, like just normalize the pressure of putting the front plate back on, as opposed to doing it all at one side and then having it sit uneven. But honestly, I think it's really up to you. There's nothing on a K1000 on the front plate itself that directly attaches to the body, like a self-timer or anything like that. So it's really not too important, but it's just a matter of preference. With other cameras like the KM or the K2 or the KX that have the self-timers or the aperture preview, it might be a little bit different, but honestly I think the Pentax self-timer mechanisms are much more simple than the Nikons, because Pentax is the best. Okay, so that's that. 4, and then this one up here is the smaller one. And then that is good to go. While we're here, I'm going to just reattach the bottom, because the bottom is done now. Put it's a new battery. I need to get new batteries. New tweezers, new batteries. Those are on my shopping list. Okay. And now that that is all good and connected, we can put the top on, or put the top components on, I should say. So first I'm going to put this on here. This is just a post. It screws in like so. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then we have a very important piece. This is the grounding screw for the whole system. So you want to make sure that the washer is clean. Oh, also, it is a little bit important I note this, and I think I'm going to replace this after I get it all put together, make sure everything's working, but I accidentally goofed up. So this is actually the proper screw that sits on this post right here. The post, or the screw that I put there, is actually the one that belongs there. So this is what should go right there as opposed to what I put there. So I'm going to swap those back off. But I just wanted to make note of that because I made special emphasis to point out how special that screw is, and I feel like I should admit that I goofed up. Not to say that my work is getting sloppier as the night goes on. I think I'm getting all the key points down. I think I'm mostly just throwing caution to the wind when it comes to my own safety, which is, again, not a good idea. But I'm almost done with the sharp, pointy bits. There we go. That was clean, dog. Clean. And almost done with the heated elements. The other thing I need to work on is better ventilation, because this basement is not cutting the mustard when it comes to ventilation. That is there. Okay, I was correct. It does indeed go black and yellow, so just pat myself on the back there for knowing how to do my job. And now, as this repair-a-thon wraps up, let's review all of the things that we've done. I don't really know, to be honest. We basically just dismantled the whole thing. And I think what was mostly unnecessary effort. I think really all I needed to do originally was clean the bottom gear. It was not working. But I think what this journey has taught us all is it's important to dig a little bit deeper, because as we noticed, which I might not have recorded these segments as much as I recorded the putting back together, I'll have to double check. There was a lot of buildup in the column itself, so it was worth it to get under there and service it. But all that being said, we're here now. The thing I forgot to do is re-put the tensioner onto the advance indication there, so just fix that. And then I think what we'll do while we're here, viewers, is I'm going to double check to make sure that the light meter works. And a simple way to do that is by basically just putting all of this back together. If memory serves, when I took it off, I had it on bulb in like 400. I think that's about where it's at right now, because I didn't really move anything too much. Just tighten that into place there. Does the full range. That's awesome. So what we'll do is we will set it at 60 and 100 ASA, and the needle is moving. We have power. You can't tell, but it is working. Take my word for it. So that's awesome. We'll put it back to bulb and 3200, and then remove this so we can put the top back on and then put it back on, because what is camera repair if not Sisyphusian efforts? See, here's the interesting thing. As I've like moved into this new place, as I'm like figuring out how to kind of live here and stuff, you don't really get a good sense for things until you start living in it, you know? I kind of have to like see how all of these different things work with one another. And figure out the workspace through that, because you can do all of like the mock-ups and all of the whatevers, but unless you actually just start working, you're not going to have a good understanding of the setup. So learning that as I go, gotta maintain flexibility. But yeah, anyway. Tightening these down, 3 screws in the top, as you may know if you've watched any of my videos. Just like so. And then I'm going to also clean this out, because a bit of gradu buildup. We'll have access in that as well. Get to it, there we go. Really, you know what, fuck it. I was just thinking, I should really open up the back door and attach that before I get too far ahead of myself. I was like, no, it's fine, I can just dig it out, but I'll literally just put the screws in, so it'll take 2 seconds to do that. Oh yeah, and then good thing I remembered that, because I totally forgot to put this in there, which will undo that, which is fine, because that wasn't correct anyway. Oh man, just a mess. Okay. This, good job me. Just absolutely nailing it. So that needs to go in there like so that way I can shove this up there. And use this just to pick out enough so that will sit up. Boom, 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 boom. And then I promise next time I do this, I'm gonna make sure that I can do it more in frame, because I feel like a lot of this I was like working back here, which works a little bit better for me in my current seating position, as I'm on like what is essentially a footstool. I'm working on getting a chair, baby steps. But anyway, it's a little easier for me to work with. But I feel like, I mean, what are we doing up there? Come on. It's not as good for the viewer. So I hope that this wasn't too difficult to watch. Get the gunk off of there. Okay, I'm trying to beat the clock here because I know I got like 10 minutes left on this SD card, so I'm trying to kind of rush this. But you've probably seen all this before, so hopefully you're not dying for this information. But if you are, sorry, watch any one of my other K1000 videos. I will try to remember to link that. If not, my mom will text me and then I will link it later. Shout out Mom, you're great at that, I appreciate you. Yes, my mom watches my content. No, she probably doesn't understand what I'm doing, but I'm thinking that after watching enough of my videos, she'll have a better understanding. Who knows? So be nice in the comments, because my mom is watching. Kidding. Say whatever you want, free speech, all that jazz. Okay, and then this washer is gonna sit in with the crimped edges up. Just absolutely power blasting this. Rotate around until those line up there. Then it's these 3 little screws. Boom, boom. I definitely thought I had more time than this, but I think I've just been recording very long videos, so hopefully this cuts into something that's semi-cohesive. This sits on top there. Remember, righty-tighty is wrong. It's going to be lefty-tighty here. Of course, it's not on. I'm going to wrap this up real quick. You know how to do the rest of this, I assume. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this repair or any of the other repairs that I did, which was a lot to this particular camera, please comment down below. I'd be happy to get back to you. But I think this is a pretty comprehensive walkthrough of how to do just about everything on a Pentax K1000 system. Appreciate you watching, appreciate the support. I guess I still have more time left. I don't know how much time, but I thought I was like, I'm over here power blasting through this and I have more time, so